Coming up on this episode of the 500 and Growing podcast.
Being from the 80s, I saw it growing up. Like, I saw hip hop, I saw graffiti, I saw breaking, and I never had access to it. I didn't know how, like, I didn't have like an older brother. So I grew up, I grew up on food stamps, shit, you know what I'm saying? And like, being where I lived, a lot of people weren't on food stamps.
Yeah, you were in a nice part of town.
Yeah, so like, wishing we had more money or wishing I wasn't on welfare. And, I love my mom because she was a person that worked herself out of that. It was me and 3 of my homies, so it was 4 of us. And he's like, come back next week for a free class. We all go. And then the next week, it's 3 of us.
Man.
Next week, it's 2 of us.
And you stuck it through.
And then the next week, it's just me. And then it's just me. And then it's just me. And like, that's how I started with my breaking career. Yeah. So I feel like I got the last taste of that, like, true essence of like 90s nostalgic, like 90s hip hop, you know what I'm saying? And like real authentic, like underground, like real hip hop. Like, I come from that. I'm Chicago born and raised, bro. So when my friends and family found out that I was performing for the Bulls, it was like hometown hero, bro. Like, like people were so happy for me, like even happier than I was for myself.
Yeah.
And man, after that, dude, I felt like Superman, bro. Like, I felt like I had to do this for my community, for my city, and I'm not gonna let you down. But what I'm finding now is that a lot of people that maybe would have just been B-boys or B-girls, they're like, oh, well, I can just learn a couple of those moves, but I can also go to this open all-styles thing and do all these other moves that I like to do too, and not just break. Because breaking is just breaking, and
it's just like one niche.
Yeah, but also, as you get better, it's harder. You know what I'm saying? So like, the moves get harder and the combinations get a little bit harder. And I think a lot of people don't want to go through that. What I've learned the most is just being on top of everything. So there are a lot of like hidden fees with owning a business. You know what I mean? Just from the city and the state and, maybe whatever building you're renting or whatever, so we rent our space, you know what I'm saying? It's in a commercial building where there's other businesses and stuff. So, we're in a really sweet spot. But I guess what I've learned the most.
What's up, everybody? A free and really impactful way to support the 500 and Growing podcast is to follow on Spotify or Apple Podcast or your preferred podcast platform. Another totally free way is to subscribe on YouTube at the 500 and Growing channel. You get to see the episodes a week after the audio podcast has been released. Remember to like and review. Send this episode to somebody that you love that can grow by the powerful experiences you learn about. It helps us delivering a high quality, engaging stories of guests who are typically people who live outside of the 9-to-5 and choose to cultivate their passions while reaching for their highest potential. So if you're enjoying the journey of the stories we feature on the 500 and Growing podcast, hit that follow button, subscribe on YouTube, and help us grow. We appreciate every single one of you, and thank you. Enjoy your episode.
500 and growing.
Podcast. Dedicated to the underdog, cause I see you. Working on your craft, getting strong, cause I see you. Ready to set it off and on, cause I see you. Correcting all that is wrong, cause I see you. Hey. My name is Jesus Azteca 500 Sanchez. I am the host of the 500 and Growing podcast. And today we have CJ Williams, also known as BlakAtak. So CJ Williams is a b-boy, an artist all around. He's definitely like an elite b-boy, a person that goes into these battles and like kills it. Guys don't even stand a chance, man. He's part of a crew called Brickheads. He's also part of a couple other crews that he'll talk about. CJ has always been a person that has remained true to the culture. We met at the point. The point was a park district that was at Promontory Point, which was on 55th and like Lakeshore Drive or something like that.
Yeah, in Hyde Park, basically.
In Hyde Park. Mm-hmm. And so you would be able to watch the lake and straight bust your face a couple times so that you were all right for that party, right? So, when I was growing up, I decided to start b-boying, and my man Relay was one of my friends from high school. Was like, yo, if you really want to know how to break dance, go to the Point. And I was like, all right. So I started going to the Point. I would ride the bus over there, you know, listening in my headphones and writing rhymes and drawing and sketching and scribing on windows and getting to the Point and doing my thing. And it led me to meet incredible people, and CJ being one of them. And I've seen his growth from like b-boying, being an elite b-boy, doing participating in halftime shows with the Chicago Bulls, to now being a co-owner of a dance studio where Relay's kid is actually going, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see it all come full circle. But let's give a big round of applause to CJ.
Thank you very much, everybody. First and foremost, I just want to say thank you for having me here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really appreciate opportunities just to tell my story and give my perspective and opinion on things. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No, man, I appreciate you coming and being able to share your story. I'm positive that it'll inspire many people. You know, I think that one of the things that this does is the podcast, I should say, is that it gives people stories of like how they're reaching their highest potential. Mm-hmm. You know, like how they got the bug for whatever they do, and then how they're like advancing that to next level, you know? Yeah. And so we'll go down the story of like how you got involved. But that's to say is like, what was your childhood like, and how did you grow up?
Yeah. I'm born and raised Chicago, you know what I'm saying? Born in 83, you know what I mean? So you could do the math. Childhood, I grew up on the north side predominantly of Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Ravenswood, Lincoln Square, Uptown area is basically my main stomping grounds. But I moved around a little bit when I was a shorty as well. So like I went to kindergarten in Harvey, Illinois.
Wow.
Yeah. So went to kindergarten there, graduated from kindergarten there. And then my family moved to Michigan, to Holland, Michigan. So I went to first grade in Holland, Michigan.
Whoa.
And then we moved back to Harvey, you know what I'm saying? And I went to second grade partially there. And then I moved to the north side where I basically grew up, my, major part of my childhood from second grade on.
Okay.
Growing up, predominantly single mom, up until, like, I knew my dad, you know what I'm saying? But we never, he was kind of in and out of my life. And I
know that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? A lot of us do, you know what I mean? And, my mom was very strong, very independent, strong woman, took care of me. I have a younger brother that recently passed away about like 7 to 8 months ago.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, bro. My condolences, brother.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. And I also have a younger sister that's about, my brother's 2 years younger than me, and my sister's 6 years younger than me.
Okay.
So I grew up, me and my brother have the same father. And then I grew up with a stepfather since I was about like 5 years old, which is my sister's father.
Yeah.
And, a great man. I'm really glad that he was in my life to be a positive role model. We weren't, like the super tightest in terms of like our personal relationship, but just to have a father figure at home was helpful. He grew up really religious. So his father was a reverend, actually. He owned a church in Harvey. Okay. Hence us being in Harvey and being out there and living there a little bit. So I grew up a little religious on the Christian side. Used to go to church every Sunday, you know what I'm saying, up until maybe I was like 13, I'd say, up until like I got into high school about.
Okay.
And this was all barring, on like my mom and my stepfather's relationship mostly, because my mom was in the church, but it was mostly like
she was going because of him.
Yeah. for the most part. But the positive, there's a lot of positive.
Yeah. It's like it's part of a lifestyle, and if you're gonna be with somebody and they're really about it,
right,
and they're gonna be around it as well.
Exactly, and then there's a whole family aspect of it too. You know what I mean? Like we're as a family, as a unit, and just being there together.
Yeah.
So I kind of grew up like that a little bit. So yeah, I mean, I knew my dad, but then I don't really care to disclose more personal things as I get a little bit older. When I was about 9, my dad went to jail.
Yeah.
And I won't really disclose why he went to jail, but he was gone for a long time, for about 15 years. Uh-huh. And so that was kind of, rough to go through, and going to see him in jail and writing letters and doing all of that.
Yeah. What did it do? What did it do to you? Like, how did you react as a young boy, like seeing that? Because that had to have been like incredibly hard to see somebody that is supposed to be in your life, that's supposed to guide you in a place where they can't do that. Right.
It was very difficult, because I have fond memories of my dad, coming to pick us up, me and my brother, up on the weekends, getting ice cream and buying Ninja Turtles and, shit like that.
Yeah.
And to see him behind bars and talking through a glass on the phone, like it was like a movie in real life. Like it's like the things you see in movies, but now I'm experiencing it in real life. You know what I'm saying? Like, and dude, I swear, like I would break down and cry like every time I was there to see him, just because it was so overly emotional. I was a kid, obviously, 9, 10.
I mean, even 11. As a grown adult, man, I cry all the time. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's just it's part of life.
It's healthy, but it did strike like a nerve in me to like. It just wasn't like, I could never get used to that. Yeah. It wasn't something that, it just made me very sad. You know what I'm saying? And like, and I'm also I'm like an empath. So like, I really feel for other people and like their situations and what they're going through. And just to see him there just made me hella sad, bro. And, you write as many letters as you can as you go on. And then, it gets a little mundane after a while. And I'm growing up. I'm a teenager now, so I'm starting to get into my own hobbies and whatnot. And it kind of faded away in terms of like that connection. Sure. Even through letters, and I didn't really go to see him because he was pretty far. And so it became very and then so just kind of moving forward. So when I around my teenage years, like high school years, my mom and my stepfather separated. So, and my mom was going to school, working full time. So I just was like doing my own thing. And that's kind of basically when I really started getting into hip hop. And I'm really thankful for that, because, obviously being in Chicago, you could go a lot of ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
you could have been hanging out in the corner with the boys.
Yeah, and I was, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it's like, I just was always on some other stuff too.
Yeah, it gave you a swag. It gave you something different to want to build.
Right. Because I was around. I could have been in any gang. You know what I'm saying? Like I had hella homies and there's nothing. I'm not knocking anyone's lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's just that I'm glad that I was always kind of like into my own thing and like didn't really follow like the masses in terms of like, oh, that's cool, let me go do it. Like I didn't care if people were like, oh, you break dancing with all the Asians. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, I don't care. I want to learn how to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, I'm doing pennies, yo, what?
Right, you know what I'm saying? And like, and then on top of that, just kind of harken back to childhood, like being from the 80s, I saw it growing up. Like I saw hip hop, I saw graffiti, I saw breaking, and I never had access to it. I didn't know how, like I didn't have like an older brother or
and you're the oldest, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like you're the one that carried the brunt of everything. I'm positive that your mom was like, yo, like I do to my daughter, I'm like, make sure that she's not touching anything that she doesn't need to be touching.
Right. Yeah, definitely. A lot of early responsibility in terms of taking care of my siblings and things like that.
What was it like what was your relationship like with your mom?
It was good. I had a good relationship, but it was a little rough too. Like kind of like what we're talking about. Like I felt like, and I feel I learned mostly from my relatives. Like my mom, I guess, was a little hard on me. You know what I'm saying, growing up, but it was because she wanted me to become a strong, independent person, and my mom's a very realistic, down to earth woman, you know, and like she doesn't beat around the bush, and she tells you, you know, straight up how it is. And I feel like I got a lot of that from her. Yeah. And I'm glad, because when you're a kid, you don't understand like some of the realities of the world, or the harshness that the world can bring towards you, or even learning about racism and things like that. You know, like me growing up on the north side, thinking everybody's like nice and, you know, always going to be nice and my friends, but describing things to her, and she's like, that's racism, you know, and like, you're going to have to learn that everyone's not going to like you, or they're not going to interact with you just because of how you look. Yeah. You know, so I had a lot of those hard conversations early in life, you know?
And I had that tough love too. The reason why I'm asking is because what you said, like I could say it myself about my mom, right? Mm-hmm. Like my mother raised me. My father left when I was younger. They had a house. My mom ended up losing the house because she couldn't keep the mortgage, right? So they had to short sale it, and they short sold it for like, you know, pennies on the dollar for what it was worth. And then I moved to Little Village, and you know, my father always had like big dreams, but never invested the time to be able to accomplish those dreams. And so in a sense, it was a lot of talk, you know? Yeah. And so my mom was like, and the other thing is that my father found it easy to be able to, you know, run to my grandparents and get help. And so my mom was like, you are not going to be that type of man. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to stand up straight. You're going to do what you need to do. You're going to walk through life. You're going to, and she was brutally honest. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I miss that. She passed away in 2006, and I miss that because sometimes I need that, man. Yeah. Sometimes I need my mom to be like, dude, you stupid, man. Like go apologize. Right. You know what I'm saying? And so, there have been a lot of a learning curve when you don't have that parent to like rely on and to like ask for advice. Yeah. But you know, I've said it before on the podcast, like her and I had like a relationship where it was just like we were brutally honest to each other. You know what I'm saying? Like she would come out in her dress and you know, ask me if she looked fat. And if she looked fat, I was like, you look fat. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you want me to do? Right. And so, but there was that clear understanding that we're gonna be 100 with each other. Yeah. We're not gonna beat around the bush, you know. And so that's allowed me to be able to, you know, be coached. You know, when somebody's like saying something loud, if what they're saying makes sense, yeah, I'll be like, I can understand where you're coming from, and not get so emotional about what they're telling me or how they're telling me. Yeah. But like listen to the message. Exactly. And so, you know, it's allowed me to, you know, be able to navigate that. And I box, right? Hence like my face. I don't know if you could see it, but you know, I got beat up today. It went back to sparring, and some that you need, man. You need to get beat up to like do your regimen and be like, right, man, that's not gonna happen next time. Yep. But what do you call it? It's definitely helped me in boxing. It's helped me in life. It's just like I'm able to take information and decipher whether it's relevant to me or not. And so, you know, the relationship that I had with my mother was really dope until I reached my teenage years. And when I reached my teenage years, it was like, why you hanging out with those black people, man? And she didn't understand until the later part of her life. So just recently I was cleaning up stuff, and I ran into her pictures, and her last job, she worked at Cook County Hospital, and her best friend was a black woman. You know, like legit. And it was just like from starting my teenage years, we're told, or I should say communities, especially on the South Side, because you grew up on the North Side, which is a little different. Yeah. On the South Side, it's like you stick to your own. Right. Like this is our spot. This is where we live. You go across that viaduct, they're gonna rob you.
Right.
You go this way, you're gonna be in trouble, right? There were all these borders. I mean, even within our community, it was just like, don't go across Lawndale.
Yep.
Because you're gonna have trouble with those boys over there because they know that you live over here, right? And so there was always like that: stay in your lane, stay in your place. You know what I'm saying?
That segregation.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's purposeful.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I don't fault my mom for thinking that at that time, but I'm so glad that in the end of her life, she was able to be like,
open up and
and so that, and she was like, why you staying up all night? Like, why you coming at 4 o'clock at night?
Yep.
Like, what's good? Like, and I'm like, yo, or calling her. There was a party one day by California and North Avenue. It was like a long time ago, like in the...
Sounds like the old Q4.
Yeah, but it was before Q4.
Leftist Lounge?
Before that. Way before that. It was when I was riding the bus.
Okay.
And all you heard was a... And so I don't know if I had a cell phone at that point or I called her from a payphone. But I was like, yo, ma, I'm over here at this party. Like, I just heard like some gun that was like semi-automatic. Like, can you come pick me up? And she was like, boy, if you don't stop calling me, you were like, you better make your way home. I don't know how you're going to make it home, but you better make your way home. And so that was the type of relationship I had with my mom, where she was like, not messing around. You know what I'm saying? Yep. She was just like,
telling you straight up,
you got yourself there. You better get yourself out.
Right.
And so, the one thing that I did that I kind of drove her crazy was that my neighborhood, especially where I live, was a border between two gangs. And so she would hear the pop, 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 and I'd be out at the party. And then I'd be safe, but the whole night she would have knots in her stomach because she wouldn't know whether it was me out there or not.
Right.
You know, and she would hear the ambulance or whatever, and it's just like, I can see now as an older person, like, having empathy for her and like her situation, that I drove her crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In that sense. And she was like, yo, you got to stop coming at 3 o'clock in the morning. But I was like, yo, I'm going to the gym. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Like, you're not on that. Like, you're on some fun party time. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, it's hard for parents to distinguish the, you know what I mean? The gunshots coming from the hood, or, you know what I mean? The gunshots coming from the call you're making, like, you know what I mean? It's just, she's just thinking about gunshots and making sure her kids at the crib safe, you know?
Yeah. So how was your relationship with your mom?
It was good. You know, like I said, it was a little, you know, we had a lot of back and forth, you know, because I feel like I'm very similar to her in terms of like being very straightforward and blunt. And I'm very strongly opinionated, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think personally as a kid, I always had kind of a smart mouth, kind of gift of gab type of, you know what I mean? So like, you know, which is great when you're an adult, but when you're a kid, it's kind of like, you know,
you get yourself in trouble,
get smacked back of the head or so, you know what I mean? And I got a lot of those, but, you know, it was good, man. I feel like my mom was a little strong and a little rough on me, but at the same time, she was very loving and always showed that she cared and took care of me and really gave me a lot of, anonymity to be myself and figure out the things that I like, and she really tried to support me the best way she could, you know?
Yeah, and then the other thing is that she's raising a boy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I know that you had your stepdad and your dad, but like she's the constant in that.
Right.
And so she's trying to make you a good man, strong.
Yep.
And so it's like there's a learning curve that, you know, I would figure that you would have as a woman trying to raise a boy to be a man, you know?
Yeah.
And so sometimes maybe that kind of comes off as like, I'm just going to be hard on you, you know?
Yeah.
But when you were growing up, did you see anything that you wanted to change?
Like in my environment or like my family structure or...
And anything that you, like little CJ looking at the world, like anything that you wanted to change?
Things I wanted to change, like... I guess just thinking about like, yeah, I mean, just my own personal situation, you know what I'm saying? In terms of like, I wish I had a more maybe nuclear family, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Thinking about like, so I grew up on food stamps, shit, you know what I'm saying? And like, being where I lived, a lot of people weren't on food stamps.
Yeah, you were in a nice part of town.
Yeah, so like wishing we had more money or wishing I wasn't on welfare. And, I love my mom because she was a person that worked herself out of that, like she, I guess, used the system the way it was meant to be designed per se, in terms of to be a stepping stool to help people, I guess, get out of poverty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't something that she was like, oh, I get free this and free that, so I'm straight. It was like, no, I'm going to use this, but still work and get myself out of this,
Mm-hmm.
But something I want to change is, I wish I never had to like go to the store and be like, oh shit, I got food stamps and I have $1 in cash and $5 in food stamps, but I don't want my friends to know that I have, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like that kind of sucked. It was something I wish I could change, but it's also part of who I am. And like looking back, it's like going through that struggle makes you appreciate things a little bit more.
For sure, man.
You know what I'm saying? And like growing up eating, everybody eats Aldi's food now. Everyone goes, oh, I go to Aldi's. Back in the day, that was where the poor people went.
Yeah,
you went to Aldi's.
You got the generic cereals there.
You know what I'm saying? Like everybody didn't go to Aldi's, like how everybody go to Aldi's and Trader Joe's now, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I used to be embarrassed with a cart walking down the street with my mom going, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wish I could have changed that. You know what I mean? It's a lot of personal things. But I did grow up in a pretty cool area, and I had like a really diverse friend group.
Yeah.
I went to a really great elementary school, McPherson Elementary School. And I feel like that really helped a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really appreciate kind of the upbringing that I had, with so many different, people, and, just like not feeling like I'm just in a homogenous place and everyone's the same, you know what I'm saying?
Like the South Side, man.
to a degree. And there's a lot of, there's a lot of different people on the South Side too. It's just in patches, you know what I'm saying?
But I'm talking about like the 90s,
right.
80s.
Yeah.
It was just like,
it's black and Mexican. You know what I'm saying? You go, Puerto Ricans are in Humboldt Park. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I totally understand.
Yeah, yeah. And so how would you describe yourself as a young kid? Like if somebody was like, CJ, what's CJ like? Like, what were you like? Were you a nerdy kid? Were you like, you were quick-witted?
Mm-hmm.
So were you a class clown? Like, what were you like?
I was a little bit of everything. You know what I'm saying? Because like I was definitely a class clown. I was always vocal. I always had like a lot of friends and like to talk and laugh. But I always like comic books and like, you know what I'm saying, and drawing and art and reading and writing, and like, so I was a little bit of a nerd too. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like I always had a great sense of humor. You know what I mean? And that's something I think might have helped me just like meet a lot of people and feel comfortable in spaces is through humor.
Yeah, and then like kind of like break down the negativity and like
and all the things, uneasiness and
uneasiness,
tension, and like all of those things. It's like, if you're with anybody and you all find something that's funny and you laugh at it, that's an instant connection, and it just is like a exhalation of just like, okay, like now we can talk, or I know I can joke around with this person, or you know what I'm saying, or they're not uptight, or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
No, for sure, man.
I feel like that helped me a lot growing up.
Yeah, like team building, man. When you get strangers together, you do some team building, and
right.
It's just like you find out, or like in a classroom where like there's the cool kid,
mm-hmm.
and then everybody laughs, and then they laugh, and they have a goofy laugh. Then nobody's cool anymore. Like
right.
everybody's cool, I guess, right? Like
exactly.
It brings you down to be a normal person.
Real quick, adding on, I was also athletic growing up, so I played all the sports and. I was always outside running around, and you know what I'm saying? So I was always into like physical activity, I didn't really dance growing up. I loved dancing growing up, but I didn't really dance. You know what I'm saying? I was more of an athlete.
Yeah, what sports did you play?
I played all like basketball, soccer, football, baseball, softball, ping pong.
Ping pong.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
hey, yo.
but my favorite was gymnastics. Like I loved when I was a kid, I always wanted to learn how to flip. You know what I'm saying? Like watching, karate movies and this Samurai Sunday and Ninja Turtles shit. Like I always wanted to like learn how to like do acrobatic ish. So when I had the opportunity to learn, I like jumped on that shit and I just like didn't stop, So out of all the sports, like gymnastics is my favorite.
When did you start gymnastics?
I started when I was about like 10 or 11. And I found a place in my neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? It was on Montrose and Western. At the time, it was called Artistic Artists of Chicago. And I want to shout out my first gymnastics coach. His name was Mark. And he's a great dude, man.
Shout out to Mark.
Yeah, shout out to Mark, man. And I was in the neighborhood walking around with my homies. And he ran outside. And he's like, hey, man, what are you guys doing? Like, we're like, oh, we're just walking around the neighborhood. This is like right across from Wells Park.
Okay.
And he was like, man, I haven't, we could see his gym through the gigantic window. He's like, yeah, this is my gymnastics place, whatever. And he's like, you guys should come in. We're first, it's weird, this dude telling us to come in, you know what I'm saying? Like, but we're like, we could see what's happening. You trusted
him though, bro.
Yeah, because we could see what was happening, but it was still weird for someone to pop out, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
he was recruiting.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how you had to do it back then, you know what I'm saying? And even now, still to this day, that's the guerrilla marketing is still powerful,
Yeah.
And we went inside and loved it, you know what I'm saying? And then, so I was with like it was me and 3 of my homies, so it was 4 of us. And he's like, come back next week for a free class. We all go. And then the next week, it's 3 of us.
Man.
Next week, it's 2 of us.
And you stuck it through.
And then the next week, it's just me. And then it's just me. And then it's just me. And he was like, man, you really like this? And I was like, yeah. And then he like put me on their like team, their tumbling team.
Yeah.
And he let me go there for free, but I had to go every day after school to train.
Okay.
So that was like the trade-off.
Mr. Miyagi, son.
Yeah, dude. And
you had to paint the wall, paint the fence and stuff.
Exactly. But interesting enough, I used to do martial arts too at Degerberg Academy on the north side. And I did that for like 3 years when I was younger as well. And that was really great to do. I think every kid should do some kind of self-defense, martial arts type of course because it really teaches you a lot of discipline and how to condition and things like that.
And self-confidence too, because it's just like you walk around. I mean, you could at least fling some,
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and so interesting your experience, because I would imagine that if you were on the South Side, you may have had a different experience, especially being, in a situation where money was hard to come by. Mm-hmm. Where you had the experience to be in gymnastics and martial arts and soccer and all these things.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. I mean, they had that stuff at the schools that I went to because I went to Catholic schools, but public schools were, I don't know if they had that,
They did. I did a lot of stuff at the Boys and Girls Clubs, Chicago Park Districts, and at just the park at my crib, by my crib. You know what I mean? So a lot of it was informal. You know what I'm saying? Like the most formalized things that I did in regards to sports was softball at my school. They had that. When I got into high school, I was on my basketball team for a year. And then gymnastics. And that's the farthest I went because I was a part of a club doing that. So I traveled a little bit and did that more on like a serious formal level.
And so that explains your b-boying, right? Because it's just like flipping came naturally because you had been training since you were 10 years old.
Right.
Like you going to get this flip right now.
Right. And what that taught me, was doing that is a lot of repetition. You know what I'm saying? It taught me repetition. My body was trained to learn, right? Because I was strong, I was flexible. So it's just about learning the technique of breaking. And that's why, I caught a lot of flack and still do to this day to some degree for not dancing enough in breaking. You know what I'm saying?
I get you. So power.
Yeah, I like power. I like the crazy moves. I like the crazy. That's what I had practiced. And I wasn't really adhering to the music I was listening to. Because a lot of the music we listen to in breaking is like funk and pots and pans. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of stuff that I grew up my mom listening to, and I like the music, but I associate that with a different generation.
Yeah.
With my mom, you know what I'm saying? Like I was on some hip hop shit and like breaking the, Wu-Tang and all the New York rap boot camp clique and all, you know what I mean? And,
Black Moon.
Yeah, and like Far Side and Souls of Mitch. So I'm like listening a lot of hip hop, breaking into that. Yeah. And that's a different vibe, a little bit more down tempo. So you know what I mean? I had to learn to kind of switch my brain around that after like about 9-10 years. I was like, man, I got to get more in touch with the music. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And it really makes it complete, and that's what you're supposed to be doing anyway,
And how did you transition? Well, first, it's like, did you ever have a moment when you were younger, that you had to stand up for yourself?
Yeah, I had a couple moments. Growing up, my neighborhood was predominantly Mexican. You know what I'm saying? Like we were, there was other black people around, but my family in that kind of pocket where I live was one of the only black families kind of around, And I dealt with a little bit of racism growing up, like had a couple little bullies, on the way home from school and shit like that, where I had to I never got into any bad fights. It was more just like standing up, like, what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
Like, I'm not gonna back down right now.
Yeah, it was a lot of that. And just kind of defending me and my brother, you know what I'm saying? And just making sure people didn't know that we weren't positioned. You could just roll up on us, or like you're just gonna make fun of us every day, or like, you know what I'm saying? So defending myself in that way.
Yeah, like there's a line you can't cross.
Yeah, and we're in the same neighborhood and same community, and I knew I would see these people every day. So I just, thankfully I got into a couple little fights, you know what I'm saying, that weren't too bad when I was younger, but for the most part it was a lot of just this talking and, and people trying to kind of bully you a little bit, you know what I mean? So that happened mostly when I was like 9, 10, I would say, around then. And when I became a teenager, kind of getting into having new friends from like different areas of the city and things like that.
Yeah.
Hanging out with a new crowd, you think people are like your mega homies until it really goes down. And I had an instance where I ended up fighting 2 people like basically by myself, and like 3-4 of my other homies are there and they're scary as hell and like didn't help me.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
wow.
You know what I'm saying? And like I held my shit down, you know what I mean? And like it just that day, and
like, you're not my friend now, yo.
Yeah.
Like I know where you stand.
Right. And I was like 15, you know what I'm saying? 16 maybe. And that shit really flipped my mind around the company I keep, the type of person I am, the type of person I want in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like that really changed me, and to like really be weary about like who your friends are, you know what I'm saying? And like what qualities you want in friendship besides just, smoking a joint and laughing and getting food. Like, what if someone tries to fight us? What if, you know what I'm saying, one of us is broke, or we got to help each other? What if, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever it is, like, are we going to help each other in all of these different instances, or just when it's convenient, or, you're going to be safe, or whatever,
it's like a conditional friendship, right?
Right. I specifically remember one instance, because I used to go to my stepfather's parents' house with my step-grandparents, and they were great. They always treated us just like any of their other grandchildren. But I do remember one of my uncles, kind of questioning me about like, so, and this is like when I was like 12 or something, like, so you do gymnastics? Like, because I was always kind of tall for my age, and like I was strong at that point because I had been training. And
yeah, you're probably cut.
Yeah, he's looking at me like, how come you don't play basketball or football? And you know what I'm saying? Like I'm wasting my body almost, on doing gymnastics. And I remember standing up for myself and just being like, well, I started doing gymnastics and basketball got boring to me. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot to learn you could do, but I find way more interest in doing this, and I feel like it's more difficult, and I like the challenge.
Yeah.
And it's like having to explain that to an adult it's crazy, because it's like, why are you questioning? And I'm not even close to you. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
he was like checking you, or trying to check you.
He was hating on me.
Yeah.
He wasn't checking. He was more like hating on me and wondering. And he was curious too, though. I know he was probably just curious. Like, why do you do that?
Yeah.
So that was an instance where I felt good about myself standing up to an adult, trying to basically hate on what I like to do, and why am I not a normal black kid that just wants to play basketball?
Yeah.
And another instance, couple instances with my mom. So like, one, me dating like outside of my race, you know, I guess maybe just my personality and the interests that I have at the time maybe didn't attract as many black girls to me. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the girlfriends that I had growing, and maybe it was my environment as well, where I was at.
Yeah. So
a lot of girlfriends that I had growing up were, you know, Mexican or Asian or white. Mm-hmm. And I remember having conversations with my OG, just like, how come you don't date any black girls? You know what I mean? And it's like, well, it's not that I don't like black women. It's just like, and then it's like who I'm around and who I like. It's not like I'm seeking that out per se.
Sure.
It's more about just who I vibe with, and it just so happens to be that most of them are not black girls. You know what I mean? So those were kind of like interesting and kind of tough conversations to have too, because, you know, it's race, you know, and like, and not that my mom's racist or anything, but she's just wondering why. Like, she's looking at me like,
well, we're conditioned to have like a baseline, and the baseline is you stick with your own.
Stick with your race, you know, and it's just like she's looking at me like, you don't like your own race, you know, and it's kind of like that conversation where it's like, nah, it's not like that. It's just, you know, like, because she didn't date outside of her race, you know, so maybe she's expecting that of me as well.
Sure.
But those are kind of some interesting conversations where I felt like I had to stick up for myself as well, along with other instances of me wanting to break dance and, you know, do graffiti, and like, she's looking at me like it's not like a waste of time, but like, it's not something I should be focusing on. I should be thinking about school and the profession and the career that I should build, as opposed to like these artistic things that may not take me anywhere. Like any parent would really kind of, if you don't have the resources to like give and you're kind of struggling, of course you don't want your kid to do something that's like not making no bread, or like, you know what I mean, contributing to their life career wise, you know. So just defending myself and my like artistry and like who I am as a person was like a big deal growing up too.
No, I mean, I think that she may have been saying that with good intentions, right? Like, why are you b-boying? Why are you going out and writing? But
yeah, she loved it, but she's just like,
you gotta have a backup plan.
Yeah, exactly.
And so so I mean, for me, it was just like, my mom was like, again, like you were talking about your mom talking about outside your race, like dating outside your race. For me, it was like going to Inglewood on the bus. You know, and she was just like, I don't understand why you're doing that.
Right.
And I was just like, yo, I'm like, I'm a real disciple to this hip hop ish. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what we're doing.
Right. She's like, you're a disciple? What are you talking about?
Yeah, man. But
you're a D?
But it was just like, she couldn't understand how I was growing in that environment. And you know, especially on the South Side, like a lot of Mexican kids weren't on that, you know what I'm saying? And so it was like I was setting out a different path that was not conventional or not like the norm in that space. And so she couldn't understand it at that point. She was just like, you're coming home at 3:00 at night, waking me up, and it's just like, yo, you got to get your own apartment, man, because like, this whole like walking in when you want to come in, that's not gonna work out. Right. And so, you know, it was also like when she passed away, like hip hop and like just school and everything always had like an importance that was more important than my mom at the time. And so one of the things that I not regret, but I think about is like hanging out with my mom. Should have hung out with my mom a lot more. Yeah. But that's in hindsight, right? It's like when you're living in the life, it's just like, yo, I got this performance, or there's this jam or whatever. It's like, or I got to go to school, or I got to study for this. And it's just like, there was always something else going on. Yeah. And so, but I also had those conversations with my mother, but Is there anything that you saw growing up that you wanted to make changes in your adulthood? Like things that you were just like, man, when I become an adult, these are the things that I'm going to change for myself. Like for me, it was like drinking alcohol, now in hindsight, right? Like I've been sober for 8.5 years, and it's just like I saw how alcohol decimated my father. And it was just like, I need better for myself, and I don't ever want my children to ever see me the way I saw my father,
Yeah.
And it was like a reality check. And so, there are those moments where you're just like, it can be, right? But for me, it was like a vicious cycle that I needed to break in order for my children not to have to deal with those things,
Right.
with those traumas. Was there anything that you wanted to change? Or that you ended up changing in your adulthood?
I guess I'm looking at this kind of two ways. So like, I guess growing up as a child, like seeing the relationships, feeling the relationships of my family, and I guess of like my mom, not being with my own father, and having a stepfather, maybe having children at a point in her life where she wasn't fully prepared, perhaps, these are things that I wanted to change. Thinking back when I was younger, like when I grow up, I am not having a kid till I'm ready.
Sure. Yeah.
I was envisioned myself having a family and raising. If I did have children, I wanted a family. Like I don't have any kids yet, and it's probably because of just how I was thinking. And it took me a little while into my 30s to kind of really feel comfortable to be like, yeah, okay, now I'm ready. But you're 35, it's like that's why everyone got kids and shit already. So it's like,
no, I get you, man.
Like,
I'm an old parent, bro.
Oh, okay.
Like I go to my daughter's school and everybody's in their 20s and I'm in my 40s, dog.
Yeah.
Like we riding like that. I'm trying. That's why I'm boxing, man. Like I'm trying to stay young.
Yeah, definitely. So that was something, for me, just I wanted to be prepared. So I knew, just thinking back, like when I grow up, I want to be as prepared as possible, so I don't have to be on welfare, so I don't have to struggle. Yeah. My kids have both their parents in their life, and we're raising them the best way that we can. So that was something that I guess I did because I don't, I do want to have children still, and hopefully I do someday. But that was a change that I knew that I was going to make for my life and for my, I guess, future family.
Yeah, for sure, man.
So that was one thing. I guess that was probably the biggest thing I could say, really.
No, yeah, I mean that's a huge one. It's like. The one thing I will tell you though, I mean, besides financially, there's nothing that's gonna prepare you for having a kid, bro.
Every single person's told me that.
You could be as like you could train, you could do as many push-ups as you want, bro. When that baby comes, it's just like it's a whole nother ball game.
No, I can.
And the thing, I had a nephew have a kid not recently, but like we had like a family reunion, and he had just had a child, and I had to break it down. I was just like, yo, none of us know what we're doing, yo. Don't nobody know what they're doing. We just trying. We blind. We trying to find that light switch.
Yep.
And try not to traumatize our kids in the process.
Yeah.
How did you get involved in like b-boying, man? Like what's that story like?
Sure. So it's kind of picking up where I was talking about meeting my first gymnastics coach.
Yeah.
He used to break, and he used to like, show off a little bit. And another dope part about his gymnastics facility is that he had a ballet room where the Chicago champions used to go practice at, kind of the later part of the night or whatever. And my coach would be like, go in there and watch,
Yeah.
And that was some of my first taste of actually seeing people break in front of me, like, for real. And like the lights, the real lights were off. They turned on like a lamp in the corner. They had their Kangos, they had their Adidas, and just like b-boy outfits, and shout out to Lady Champ. That's the first woman I saw break.
Word.
And dude, it was amazing. And I had really crazy memories of just going in there and watching and being amazed. And I always loved it. Yeah. And I just never knew where to learn. And so that was me like kind of visually like, whoa, I'm seeing it now in person. And seeing my coach like do certain moves and things like that. He'd show me a little bit, but I was really there to learn gymnastics. So that's what I learned, is how to really tumble.
Yeah.
But that was a spark right there. And then I got into high school, and I went to Amundsen High School, and I met people that knew how to break.
Yeah.
And I just started kicking it with them, and I never stopped. And I practiced with, my homies from school, some other neighborhood friends, and we would practice after school, outside. Mm-hmm. And eventually I met one of my mentors, Saul Spin Master from Brickheads. Yeah. And and Raul from We Rockwell. So one of my first breaking crews was called We Rockwell. Mm-hmm. And shout out to all the homies, because they really took me in, and they showed me how to break, and they showed me the Chicago breaking scene. And I was like 15, 16, going to parties, staying out till like 2:00 in the morning or whatever. But the parties were so raw back then, because it was like, this is late 90s. I started in 98. And at this point, I had been maybe breaking like a year and a half. And the parties had everything, you know what I'm saying? There'd be dope MCs there. It'd be, a bunch of girls there. It would be people breaking, mad graffiti on the walls, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, it was just a hip hop party. And like, that's how I started with my breaking career. Yeah. So I feel like I got the last taste of that, like true essence of like 90s nostalgic, like 90s hip hop, you know what I'm saying? And like real authentic, like underground, like real hip hop. Like I come from that, and my crews come from that. And I just went hard with breaking, bro. And like, coming from a gymnastics background, like I mentioned earlier, like my body was ready to like learn it. I just had to learn the techniques of breaking. Like I was strong, I was flexible, and like I had the drive to learn. And then I finally found the right people.
Yeah, but you had your gymnastics coach. Like why didn't you,
like I said, I wasn't there to learn hip hop.
Oh, so you were like, I'm like focused on gymnastics.
Yeah, I was learning backflips and front flips and how to twist, and you know what I'm saying? And I was going to starting to go to competitions and things like that. So that was like a side thing where it was like, I know how to do this, and like, but maybe unbeknownst to him, that's something I was like, oh shit, that's exactly what I want to learn, like even more than this, what you're showing me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so like,
it's wild, because it's like you got that taste.
Yeah.
But you didn't bite.
I mean, I didn't, but he was,
because you're about this, like you're like a monk for b-boying.
I mean, I just transferred I transferred all of the gymnastics, the drive. Just transferred it all into breaking.
Yeah, and it just trips me out that like you were there, you saw Chicago champions, mm-hmm. and you walked away from it only to like totally immerse yourself in it later. Yeah, totally. And it was about meeting the right people. I just finally stumbled across the right people, or they found me. Yeah, the
energy.
Know
what I mean? And they were like, "Yo, come on." And they showed me what was up, and then I met Waka, and I met my homie Sean Rocca and Popcorn, you know what I'm saying? And then I became part of the Brickheads, and after that, man, it was a wrap, because then I was just around nothing but just beasts of breaking. Yeah. And like, OGs at that point, like living legends at that point, that were kind of on their like, second wave, you know what I mean? Maybe even third wave of like, yo, we're really doing this. And now we got fresh blood to add on to what we're doing. And I was one of those dudes, Yeah. And I just had really great teachers.
So Spin Master is the one that introduced you to Brickheads.
Well, yeah, I mean, kind of, because I met him on my own, but I also met Sean Rocca on my own. Okay. And I met Hexstar on my own too. So I met all of these different people
that's pretty cool.
that all knew each other.
They were like, yo, Spin Master, yo.
Yeah, and that's how I basically fell into
Sean
that
Rocca.
squad. Cause they're like, yo, we know this dude black dude from up north. He's a gymnast. He can do flares. Yeah. We should cuff him up. And it's
that's wild though, because it's a crew of pretty much like Latinos. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Cause Waka's Dominican. You know what I'm saying? Sean's black and Puerto Rican. Hexstar's Puerto Rican. Pop's half Mexican. So yeah, a lot of Latinos. And yeah, I was the black brick.
Yeah, and so what? And what was it like to?
And my
grow-
homie Angel Brick, shout out to Angel Brick as well. You know what I'm saying? Boricua as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Got to shout him out.
What did you? How did you stay so passionate when it was like dominated in the 90s by Latino?
That's a great question. I had places like The Point where a lot of other Southside black breakers would go, like All Pro Breakers. Shout out to All Pro Breakers, you know what I'm saying? Like, on some real shit, if I wasn't in Brickheads, I probably would have been in that crew because those are all my mega homies, a bunch of black and Puerto Rican dudes, you know what I'm saying? So seeing them was very helpful. You know, amongst other people, you know, like my homie John Inlight, you know, he used to go to The Point, my homie Nigel, you know what I'm saying?
I started b-boying when Inlight started b-boying.
Oh, word, okay.
And
Yeah.
it was just like, and then I started boxing.
Okay.
And then I kept on, you know, doing the b-boying, but it was just like I was doing it for the parties, and I saw Inlight like flourish.
Yeah,
yo.
yeah, he came up, man.
Like, I was just like, all right, I see you, dog. I see you.
Yep. You know, that's my mega homie. You know, I have already been around for a few years, but you know, seeing someone new like him is inspiring. You know, Mano, Nigel, my homie Ike. So there's other black breakers that were around me.
Yeah.
Just wasn't a lot. And luckily for me, again, just thinking back to my own personality, like I was always on my own shit. Like I didn't care what other people thought about me because I was already, when I was younger, I was already getting that shit. Like, why do you like this? Why do you like comic books? Why do you like? I was always kind of
like the black sheepish.
In a way, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like you know, and it sucks because all these stereotypes about all of our different races and ethnicities. You know, I was supposed to like basketball and football and, you know, gangster rap music and, you know what I'm saying, and wear baggy ass clothes, like, you know what I'm saying, and talk like however people talk. Like, I just never really fell into all of these like stereotypes of what people think a black person should be or how they should be or how they should talk or how they should act or what their interests should be. Yeah. So for me, I was always kind of just defiant in my own abilities. And I'm like, yo, yeah, this is what I do. Yeah. So I don't care if you're all what. And then again, too, coming from a gymnastics background, I used to compete against basically nothing against white people. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a couple Asians and, you know, Hispanics and Latinos, you know, mixed in, but 90% white people. And then my lanky, tall, black ass is there doing my thing. So that taught me to be like, I don't give a fuck who's here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like doing this. I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. So I carried that with me wherever I went. Yeah,
that's a gift, man. And talking about the 90s parties, right? Mm-hmm. Like, that's where I got to meet real Chicago. You know, like in the 90s parties, because I came from the South Side, and like I said, like we didn't cross viaducts.
Right.
You like, yo, you stay here.
Yep.
But when you went to the jam, it was like it didn't matter what color you were.
Right.
If you had 4 fingers or you had 5, right? Like if you were dope, you were dope. And at the end, people would give you pounds and be like, yo, that was raw, dog.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And there was that camaraderie that we had in those spaces where it was just like you were accepted. Mm-hmm. You were part of the crew. And then a part of like that underground scene that not everybody knew about. Right. And so there was like a realness that was recognized where they were just like, I see you, bro. Yep. You know about this too.
Yeah, like you know what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And so, you know, how did you know, were there any moments in your life where you like stood at the fork in the road of life and you had to pivot? Like, what were those moments like?
Yeah, a big one for me. So I got injured in 2010. It was from breaking, but mostly it was from like wear and tear of like tumbling just like on concrete and hard surfaces for like all of my childhood and teenage years. So I ruptured my Achilles tendon on my right foot completely in 2010. And for me, that was life-changing because one, at that point, you know, I was like 27 and I was like, yo, I make money from my body. That's how I make money. I teach breaking, fitness classes and things like that. I do performances. Like, this is how I make money. And if I can't do that, how am I gonna make money and live, you know?
Yeah.
So that
It's
really
your livelihood.
exactly. So that really made me think about my future a lot more. So when that happened to me, I was like, "F this, dude. I'm going back to school." At the time, I didn't have a car. I'm getting a car. I'm going back to school. You know what I'm saying? And like, I just really started thinking about my future and like building a career, and also kind of just watching people around me that, you know, like that's another thing about growing up too. Is like my family. I have a lot of educated people in my family that went to college, and it was always pushed that we should go to school and get, you know what I'm saying, and get, and not just to get a good job, but to be an intelligent person, you know. Yeah. And it really woke me up. Like, yo, I need to go back, one, to gain more knowledge outside of just my physical, but two, to also again build a career and be financially stable outside of just breaking and what I was doing. Yeah. So that was like a fork in the road for me in terms of like, am I going to stay doing what I'm doing, or am I going to do some things I don't really want to do, which is going back to school and doing that, but to get to like a, you know, a better place in my life, you know? So yeah. That's what I did, you know, and I'm really glad. It took a long time, but it really proved like my own self-perseverance, and it proved to myself that I can do this. And also just to like, again, I'm like watching people around me, like certain people just like, man, like where are they going in their lives? You know, like I didn't want to just keep going from job to job, and you know what I'm saying? Like I wanted to build something that I could rely on and just really, not have to worry about my life in that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, so, to have something to fall back on, no?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so there may have been people that were around you that didn't have that like totally immersed themselves in that space.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's life is different, you know?
So I mean, what I'm saying is that you learned from that experience, from seeing that.
Oh, yes, of course. You know, and like, you know, I try to teach that to people too. Like you learn from not just what people are telling you, but you learn from watching what just people are doing, you know, and it could be bad things, negative things that you don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? And like, or to make you think twice when you're encountered with certain situations and whatnot. So yeah, I really just like sucked it up and was like, yo, man, I need to get my life in order. You know what I mean? And like, stop just living like I'm just going to be invincible forever. You know what I mean? Like I got to like think about my future.
Yeah.
You know?
And then, how did you get into hip hop, and not necessarily? So we found out how you kind of like got into the b-boying, right? But like, how did you get into hip hop in general? Who introduced you to that?
Yeah,
because you do writing, right? You write graph. You b-boy. There, you have a lot of facets. Like, how did you get involved in that community?
Yeah, like I said, just always I had an affinity for breaking and hip hop, and just kind of being from the '80s. I just always loved it. I just never really had like an outlet or someone to show me how to do it. So when I got into high school, I met homies that were like into hip hop. Like basically the dudes that I met that I started breaking with really helped me learn about hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And like I did graffiti with them and just learning about the music and the culture. So it was a lot of my high school homies, you know what I'm saying, that I really got to learn like the true essence of like hip hop, along with all my older homies that were showing me how to break and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So that was around when I was like 14, 15.
Yeah, and you practice several elements. Like what is it like to dedicate yourself to those elements and like flourish in those? Because I've seen your graph.
Thank you.
Your graph has gotten like real clean.
Thank you.
Right,
bro.
and so how have you, harnessed that growth?
Well, my graph has always been clean. Nah, just like. But I just love art. I love art. I always loved art. I always drew like comic book shit growing up. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. I'm a self-taught artist, so I never went to school or had anybody like show me how to do anything. Like I just figured it out.
Yeah.
And then, just being so like in love with hip hop, it was natural for me to kind of gravitate towards graffiti in terms of the art type of like, visual art that I wanted to do, besides breaking, which could also be considered a visual art. And yeah, so with breaking, it's the hip hop art.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, it's just natural for me to do it. And
well, all the elements are, right? And that was what's so beautiful about it.
right. Definitely. And yeah, and it's just aspects about graffiti and breaking, I think, that I gravitated towards two out of the other elements of hip hop, which they're all competitive, generally speaking, they're all competitive things that you can compete against someone in. But when you really think about it, like, besides, I guess, rapping, like breaking and graffiti are like the main ones where people are straight going at it. You know what I'm saying? And like, for me, I'm competitive. So like, I naturally kind of like that. I like that, like, you're putting your skills against someone else at some point, or you may have to prove yourself at some point. You know what I'm saying? Through your art. You know what I mean? I always like that aspect about it. And with breaking, it's just anything that I like that I do. I just not necessarily want to be better than other people. I just want to be the best that I can be. But it comes to a point where it's like, well, how good am I? You got to go against someone else to know.
Yeah, if they catch a fade, they catch a fade.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So like, it is like that. And it's like, you got to be brave and put yourself out there. And I was always brave in that way.
And what's that like for people that don't know about b-boying, or what is it like when you enter a competition, and you get called up, and it's like you and your crew, or just you in general, right? Like, how do you prepare for that? Do you stretch? Like, what do you stretch? Like, how long do you stretch? Has that changed? And then how do you maintain that focus? Because b-boying at the level that you're doing it is all about concentration and muscle memory, right? It's like fully being in the present moment, where you're just like, okay, this is what I need to do. This is the next move. This is the transition. Are you talking to yourself through like, for somebody that doesn't know about b-boying or breakdancing, right? Like, what could you tell them about practicing it on the elite level, and like what it's like to be in your head during that time?
Sure. So to answer your first question, yeah, I've always kind of been really good about warming up and stretching. Again, it comes from more of a sports background, where that's what you do before you get into whatever you're doing. And I've always done that, like, since I was a kid, warm up and stretch before I really get into what I'm doing. And I think that's really helped prolong my career now. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, mentally, psyching yourself up a little bit, and practice is where you build the confidence. So training, like anything else, is where you're going to build that confidence to present it on that stage or ring or circle, whatever it is. And I go crazy at practice. Like, I train, So when I go to an event or competition, I'm confident because I know I trained.
Yeah.
And I believe in myself. So I just do what I do, man. You know what I mean? And I don't worry about messing up. I don't worry about people liking me.
Yeah. How do you get into that mode though? Like, is there like a process that you go through? Do you light incense?
No, it's natural for me, bro. It's always just been natural for me
just
to be
turn
like,
it on?
Yeah, I'm just like, it's time. There's always a song, even if the music's whack, there's always a song in my mind. There's always something to hype me up, some kind of like remembering what I did at practice, like, oh man, I hit them, I'm gonna do that right now, you know what I mean? Or this dude's here, like, man, everyone thinks he's so good, well, I'm good too, you know what I mean? It's just, I find the motivational pieces and like whatever I need to do to psych myself up, it could be various things, but innately I've always just had that, like, man, I'm gonna snap right now, or we're gonna snap, and being prepared. If I'm with other people, I've always been one to prepare. We're gonna practice routines, we're gonna practice together just to vibe, and like, so when we get there, we're good and comfortable, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then second question, what was the second question?
Was man, you caught me off guard. I was digging what you were talking about.
Sorry. Because I wanted to touch on that first question.
So yeah, it's like, how do you stretch, or like, how do you prepare yourself? And then, I mean, you were kind of answering it. Is like, how do you get that ultra focus that you need to be able to like execute these things? I mean, you were part of a dance troupe or group, right? That did the Chicago Bulls halftime shows. So like you were in the middle of like the bull.
Yeah.
That Michael Jordan was stepping on when he won 3 championships.
Yeah, dude.
And like doing
6 champions.
Or the old stadium was
true.
Right?
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
So I'm just like, yo, that brother is like right there, man. And I imagine there are a whole bunch of people, and it's just like,
man,
there's a lot going on.
Yeah. Like, dude, you're giving me chills thinking about it, because for me, like, so I did that with, a few other people. I don't know if they felt it how I felt it, being from Chicago, man. Like, when people,
so they weren't from Chicago?
Well, some of them are from the suburbs. Okay. No, and others are from. Well, we had one dude that was from Indiana, or excuse me, he's from Michigan.
Yeah.
That did it, and
you guys were like a super crew.
Yeah, basically, because these are my homies, but it wasn't like just the Brickheads are performing for the Bulls. Like, this was more of a collective, like, squad that was put together. And I'm Chicago born and raised, bro. So when my friends and family found out that I was performing for the Bulls, it was like hometown hero, bro. Like, like people were so happy for me, like even happier than I was for myself.
Yeah.
And man, after that, dude, I felt like Superman, bro. Like, I felt like I had to do this for my community, for my city, and I'm not gonna let you down. And I don't know if the other guys felt that how I felt it, bro. And another kind of special moment I had with that too, we were a squad. It was called the Breakables. And I did it for 2 years, from 2014 to 2016. So we did it for 2 seasons. And I actually performed first before our squad. You know what I'm saying? Like, our first game together was like the next game after the first game that I performed at. And I did the season opener for, it was us against LeBron and the Cleveland Cavaliers. They had just won.
Boo. No,
yeah. But it was the season opener for us.
Yeah.
And it was on Halloween of 2014.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful, warm October day. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was perfect, bro. But I just remember, because I was there alone for that first game.
Yeah.
And I just remember going out on the stadium, and it was packed, sold out. Because
LeBron's there.
Right, exactly. And then we had Derrick Rose and the Ill Squad, Noah and Dang, and that's like, I was performing when we had that squad.
Yeah,
bro, it was sold out. It was like 22,000 people or whatever, and they were like, "Okay, go under the hoop and wait." And like how we rehearsed. When we rehearsed it, no one's there. When I get there, dude, just like the overwhelming feeling that I had being in that stadium, and like you're saying, just knowing the history and the lineage of the Bulls, and just like the importance and the prestige of the Chicago Bulls, like it rushed me, dude, and like I felt it. But it wasn't in a way that I was like nervous. It was like I belonged. I was supposed to be there, and I had like finally made it almost. Like I had that type of feeling.
Yeah. And
I killed it, and I did what I was supposed to do. But I just remember that moment, just looking up at the crowd and just seeing all the red, and just like, it was just a really impactful moment for me. And I'm really grateful I had that experience, and I'm glad I got to not only do that for myself, but for my, family, friends, and fans in Chicago.
Chicago, yo. Yeah. Do you still have the outfits?
Oh, yeah.
And they're like put in the glass cases at the crib?
No, I'm definitely hanging on to those for sure. You know what I mean? Just
how many did you get?
Well, I did for 2 seasons. So, we had like a couple of outfits, and then a bunch of shirts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
A couple pairs of shoes that I don't think I have the shoes anymore, but I definitely have like the track suit.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
Yeah,
you can't take that to the party and like do a windmill and somebody spills some wine on the floor.
Nah, we ain't getting that dirty, bro. We ain't getting that dirty.
Yeah, and then how do you stay motivated to continue to build the practice or to build your skills in hip hop, right? Because so many of like the people who we grew up with kind of fell off. Like how do you keep it going? How do you keep the excitement, the wanting to learn?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. I'm going to be 42 next week.
Yeah,
and,
happy birthday.
Thank you, bro. And it's definitely been a long time coming. I feel like for me personally, I've never had a reason to stop.
Yeah. Except that Achilles.
Except that, the only time is being injured. And that's just more for me like a freak accident, unfortunate situation.
Yeah.
And it could have broke me down. I could have not came back. I could have not believed in myself that I could bounce back, to where I was.
I mean, what was that like, yo? Because like
I was determined, bro.
That's like Kobe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you've ever seen that documentary where he's like getting it scraped and they're talking about, you just got to practice. And he's over there like.
Yeah, he don't feel the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are career enders for sure, those injuries.
But he was determined to get back, and he finally got back where he was doing what he was doing before. Like
right.
how did you work through that pain? How did you work through that frustration where you were just like, man, because there had to have been moments where you were sitting there and being like, what the?
Yeah. It was difficult. And it made me really, I had a long, being on crutches and then not being able to walk and being posted up at the crib, it gives you a lot of time to self-reflect.
Yeah.
And it made me realize the type of person that I was. And, I already realized this, but it helped me to reinforce it. Like, I don't give up. I'm determined, like I'm a fighter. I'm a warrior. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not just going to let this overcome me and then I'm just going to be depressed forever. Like, I was like, nah, I'm just going to do the best I can to get back to normal. And that's what I did. Also just kind of switching around how I move. Mm-hmm. And this is speaking more to my injury, and aging, just kind of being more mindful about how you move. You know what I mean? And like learning more about your body, learning your limits,
listening to your body,
learning the anatomy of your body. You know what I'm saying? Learning what foods and liquids are good for your body.
Man.
All of these things combined are what creates longevity. And, for me, aging, man, on some real shit, like I still feel really good, man. You know what I'm saying? I think consistency is the key. I just never stopped. Yeah. Even me getting injured, I was still doing push-ups and this shit. I was doing pull-ups and landing on one foot. And you know what I mean? Like I was keeping up with the rest of my body. It was just I had to get my leg back, so I just never stopped. And I think the consistency is what has helped me to prolong my career, which has not wavered my motivation for it. And also for me personally, like I've become a professional at what I do. So outside of me just breaking, like I get a lot of great opportunities. I get paid for what I do and people appreciate what I do and people are contacting me for what I do. So it just never gave me a reason to stop, and that's my love for it has just grown more throughout the years. And now being older and kind of being a veteran in the scene, the breaking culture, not culture, but like the scene has shifted a little bit. It's not
what's the scene like now?
It's not as strong as it used to be. You know what I mean? Like Chicago is heavily known for just crazy innovation with like power moves and like crazy freezes and blow ups and things like that. We weren't not very known for like the rhythmic side of breaking.
Yeah, like the footwork.
Right, like the footwork and
like
top
New York
rocking.
Is like top rock.
Right.
Poppin' is Cali.
Right. And like we have a lot of great dance forms here. You know what I mean? We got Chicago footwork. We have crazy Latin scene. We have, you know what I'm saying, house dancing. You know what I'm saying? Like
Brave Monk does a lot of the house dancing in his b-boying.
Yeah, exactly. And like, for me, I guess when I started breaking, it was like people didn't want to see a bunch of footwork. They want to see some crazy shit when you break. When they think about breaking, like, you gonna spit on your head, you gonna do a backflip. You know what I'm saying? Like breaking here in Chicago is way different than breaking other places because If you want to see someone do some dope footwork, you're like, well, I'm gonna go watch the Chicago footworking dude. You know what I'm saying? Get down. And not to say that they don't appreciate someone that breaks, that has clean footwork and is dope. It's just that their mindset is more like, oh, you're
do get. Yeah,
like when they think about breaking, they're like, oh, you know how to break that? Like, you know how to. They want to do something crazy, you know. Like it's kind of like that, and like their crazy isn't you doing fast, clean footwork. Their crazy is like you just did a flip and landed on your one arm, and so like that's kind of how I came up in breaking. Where it's like, man, I want to be as explosive and crazy as I can be.
Yeah. But I was talking about like that was the footwork that you were talking about. That do get.
Yeah, like like Chicago footworking.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and like which is super dope. I guess the point that
it's separated from b-boying. It's like it's not they don't intermingle with each other. I mean, you might have some at a party, but it's like they're doing this and then now this person's doing that.
Yeah. I guess I'm bringing it up just in terms of like there's more options in Chicago for people to see. Like, how do I explain? Like, I guess it's just a mindset thing. Like, we have more options of dances here where people are like, oh, like I can see someone do some crazy like up top movements and dancing, and I want to see fast, clean footwork. You can see Chicago footwork people doing that. So when they see breakers, they're like, I want to see you spin on your head. I want to see you do the move where you go like this. You know what I mean? Like they don't want to see you do fast footwork. They want to see you do breaking moves that are specific to breaking.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, yeah. Chicago has always been known for power.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I guess when I'm explaining, like, that's why.
Yeah, because it's like, that's the archetype for Chicago b-boying.
Right.
It's like flares, 90s,
power
windmills,
moves,
head spins,
right, and
freezes, right?
Yeah, and just a lot of fast, strong, crazy movements, and, and I'm kind of veering off from probably the question that was asked, but but yeah, that's
I was talking about like you were talking about how has the b-boy scene shifted.
Oh yeah, I think now it's like there's a lot of so there's a couple things. So there used to just be more Chicago like pride, you know what I'm saying, and just more like ownership of our scene. I feel like I'm one of the last people, or my crew is one of the last ones that really had that mentality about Chicago. A lot of the other crews here, like there's a lot of dope crews, but they're not as Chicago as us. I'm sorry. Like we're the Chicago crew, like for real. You know what I mean? And I feel like we still carry that with us wherever we go in the world. And we still hold that down here. So I just feel like the mentality has shifted in terms of like representation of our scene. There's a lot of transplants here that don't really care about Chicago hip hop and the Chicago breaking scene like how I care about it, which doesn't help. And then overall, there's not a lot of new blood that want to learn how to break. Like now there's like open styles and all styles events where
you'll have a house dancer go up against a b-boy.
Well, yeah, you have that, but there's also now where like there's someone that has a few house moves, a few popping moves, a few breaking moves, a few whacking moves, a few Latin steps, salsa moves, and like they put all of that together and just dance, and like they have competitions with that, right?
Yeah,
and which is dope. But what I'm finding now is that a lot of people that maybe would have just been b-boys or b-girls, they're like, oh, well, I can just learn a couple of those moves, but I can also go to this open all styles thing and do all these other moves that I like to do too.
Yeah.
And not just break, because breaking is just breaking. And
it's just like one niche.
Yeah. But also as you get better, it's harder. You know what I'm saying? So like the moves get harder and the combinations get a little bit harder. And I think a lot of people don't want to go through that. They don't want to be on the floor.
They don't want to bust their face.
They don't want to be on their head or upside down.
End up with the burns on their back.
You know what I'm saying? Like they don't want to go through all that. So I'm not saying that they're taking an easier route, but I think that now there's a more of a safer option for people.
Yeah.
That I can still do a little couple breaking moves in what I do, but I'm not just a breaker.
Yeah, and you see that in like the world dance, what is it called?
World of Dance.
Yeah, the world of dance, where it's like you see people like, pop,
Right.
maybe lock, and then they go into some different
Go into some house steps, and then they go back, and and it's dope. I love all of that too, but I love breaking. You know what I mean? And like I wish there was there was more people that want to just break here. Like,
well, that leads me into my next question, right? Mm-hmm. Like you recently became co-owner of a studio.
Yeah.
And you're teaching b-boying and b-girling there in the studio. Like what is that like first? And then you're teaching that new generation, right? Yeah,
we're definitely trying to, have some new faces and new blood in the scene eventually. Yeah. I'm co-owner of Steadfast Dance Center in Pilsen. It's right on 19th Street and Blue Island, right next to Penny Whistle. If anybody's ever been to Penny Whistle, and so we teach everything. So it's not just a breaking or hip hop studio. Yeah. We have classes that. But I know Reese is up there. You know what I'm saying? Like getting it. Yeah. Like we definitely have our breaking class. You know what I'm saying? And like, so, I'm just making, just kind of like a shameless promotion right now. But no, that's like, important, bro. Do it. Yeah, just like making it clear, because a lot of people look at me, and this is why I kind of like. I like to be behind the scenes a little bit more, because I don't want people to just think, oh, they just teach break dance in there. Our studio teaches all kinds of dance forms. Yeah, what dance forms do they teach? So for youth, do you teach, I should say. Well, I teach breaking, obviously, but we have also youth classes for tap dancing, for hip hop, like hip hop choreo classes. Mm-hmm. We have ballet, and obviously we have a breaking, and then we also have for adults, we have house dancing classes. We have swing dancing classes, and then we also have adult breaking classes as well. So we just have we have a mixture of classes that that people can come and learn. Sure. But speaking specifically to breaking, we're trying to get as many new people as we can to learn how to break and see the importance and like benefits of breaking, and it's hard because there's kind of a high learning curve with breaking, and like it's difficult to find young people that will stick with it. And we've been lucky to have some really dedicated students for the past couple years that have been sticking with us and have seen now like, whoa, I'm getting better. And like, I know they feel like they see like where all their training and practice has gone to. And at first you don't see it. Yeah. And especially because when we grew up, it was cool. Oh, hell yeah. And like cool. Now I would imagine that they walk into a party and they're kind of like it's cool that they're doing it, but it's cool that they're doing it. It's not like we doing it. Right. And even back then when I started, people were like, you do that? You know what I mean? Like it's always been this weird underground niche type of thing. Yeah. And it's similar to house music too, because like even kids now, they're like, house music, like my grandmother listened to house music. Like that's what I do when I do. That's what I listen to when I do my chores. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like the same thing for me when I was learning how to break. And they're like, I'm like, damn, like James Brown, like of course James Brown, the king of soul. You should know how to dance and get funky. Yeah. But I'm like, my mom listens to that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, when I'm gonna be in the living room dancing with my mom now, like there's nothing wrong with that, but like I didn't think it was that cool at first, but you grow and you learn. So it's interesting, and like so like there's a high learning curve in breaking, so it's hard to find young people that will stick through that kind of difficult learning period. And you're always learning. It's just like learning to the point where you're like, whoa, I can do it now, and like now I want to learn more, and building that eagerness. Because you lose a lot of people in that, where it's like, oh, this is hard, I can't get it. But like if you do it for another month, you'll probably get it. But they're like, oh, another month, and then they quit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's what my experience has kind of been in general with like more of the younger generation breaking. Yeah. For our students that are at my studio, we have had some very dedicated students that have been learning. Yeah. But I think they have been a little they've been waiting till they feel like they're ready to really present themselves. You know what I'm saying? And
well, you went to Relay Son's school, right? Reese?
Yeah.
And I was just like, yo, he's gonna be like super popular now because y'all went out, you like snapped off, and then he came in and he did a move. I was like, oh, my guy over there, man.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Have everybody, jocking him now.
No, it was awesome. It was really cool to incorporate him into our performance, and it was a Black History Month performance, and we were just speaking on the importance of hip hop and how it was started by Black and brown people, and to have our student there representing, it was really dope, bro.
Yeah. And so I mean, I guess we were talking about that. We were talking about like the studio space. Like, what has it been like to run a business, right? Have you ever had a business?
I ain't never had a business. I've done a lot of business, but I never had my own business.
So what's that like? What are the learning curves in like running your own business, right? Like, you got to make sure, hey, you got to pay your dues.
Yeah, you got to pay a lot more to do. What I've learned the most is just being on top of everything. So there are a lot of like hidden fees with owning a business. You know what I mean? Just from the city and the state, and maybe whatever building you're renting or whatever. So we rent our space. You know what I'm saying? It's in a commercial building where there's other businesses and stuff. So, we're in a really sweet spot. But I guess what I've learned the most is you have to market as strongly as you can forever. And I didn't go to school for marketing. I barely keep up with my own Instagram page and stuff like that. So, like, the constant reminders and, like, fresh ideas and different, I guess, not gimmicks, but like just different ways you can get people in the door, right?
Yeah, like get their attention.
To get their attention. So it's getting their attention and then the retention, right? So like, it's one thing to get someone's attention, but can you retain that and keep things fresh for them so that they keep coming back?
Yeah, how do you do that?
Just constantly. Well, one, we pride ourselves on our quality instruction. All of our teachers are very qualified dancers, and we take what we do seriously, and I think that's really resonated with our families and the students that we have. Like, yeah, you can go to other studios and their studios might be bigger and nicer, but the teachers, and there's great teachers all over the city, but I think what's kept the retention in our studio is that our teachers are quality, and the families feel that, and they feel like their kids are learning. They feel like their kids are having a good time at our studio, and they want to keep coming back. It's not like we're not like giving a million incentives or like, giving fake praise and all of these things. Like, we're just being straight up genuine dance instructors that want to teach people, and also keeping our prices affordable for people in our community that we're in. You know what I mean? Of course, we need to make money. We're not a non-for-profit, but we also want to make sure that people are comfortable with what we're charging, and like not feeling like they're getting ripped off or just outrageous prices. You know what I'm saying? So, every year everything's raising, and we've yet to kind of really raise our prices because our goal is just to get more people through the door
and make it affordable for people,
and keep it affordable for the people that want to come to our studio. So, the way we've been keeping people is keeping it affordable, and just, making sure that we're providing quality instruction for our students, and also making it fun for them, to make sure that like, hey, we can learn. It might get a little difficult, but every time you come here, we're going to laugh, smile, and have a good time, And
did you have that studio before, or like pre or post COVID?
Post COVID.
Oh, so okay.
And you know what's crazy about this, bro? Like,
what?
So during COVID, I got hired by an organization I used to work for to do online classes, online breaking lessons.
Sure.
And all of the lessons that we did were filmed at
that studio.
Steadfast, at that studio. And this is way before I knew I was going to be the owner of the studio.
Yeah.
And it was just crazy how things just
Full circle,
yeah,
bro.
dude, it's crazy.
It's like it's meant to be type situation.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, man, and it's interesting. I mean, it's good to listen to those things and to see those things kind of manifest. You know, I mean, yeah, I've had that situation as well where it's just like it started poetry in one place, and then you come back and it's just like you're back there doing poetry, but it's in a different capacity.
Yeah. Yep.
If you could speak to yourself as a child, you know, now kind of going through some of your story and like really contemplating, like, what would you tell CJ to kind of either settle his soul, like make him more confident? Like, if you could, you know, maybe deal with some of the insecurities that he may have had as a child. Like, if you could get yourself in a time machine and then go back and just whisper something in your younger self, like, what would you tell him?
Great question. The biggest thing that I would tell myself is to take school more seriously, because, you know, for myself, and we talked about this a little bit off camera, I went back to college in my 30s, you know what I'm saying? And like, school was never really hard for me. Like, I was always pretty smart. I was just kind of a slacker, procrastinator, and kind of a goofball, you know what I'm saying? And like, I just was kind of, I was kind of like whatever about school when I was younger. You know, I didn't see, like, I never really knew what I wanted to do. So I was like, well, I don't know what I want to do, so why should I focus on school and get straight A's? Like, I don't even know what I'm going to do. And I kind of had that mentality when I was younger.
Yeah.
And as an adult looking back, I would tell myself, look, just get through it. Do it all. Just go to school, graduate high school, go right to college. Because I feel like it would have just made my life a little bit easier. And I didn't really have a lot of struggles per se, because I've always had a job and money, but I think it just would have maybe helped me set things up a little bit earlier in my life.
Yeah.
And which could, like, maybe I'd be a millionaire right now if I would have did, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I would have maybe did things earlier. So I would just tell myself, just take your education seriously, because it does benefit you. As expensive as school can be, it's also about the knowledge you're obtaining, right? And like, of course you can get knowledge by not going to school, but it teaches you a lot of things, man, like discipline and, you know, completing tasks. And, you know, everyone has a different mindset around it. But for me, it helped me because I was already kind of like that and responsible.
Yeah.
But to combine all this informal knowledge that I've accrued over my life and then combine it with formalized knowledge, I feel like it just made me superior. Like, I feel like I can go to anywhere in the world and teach a class. Like, you know, now my credentials put me in a higher tax bracket. You know what I'm saying? And like, just, I wish I would have thought about these things differently when I was younger. And I think it would have probably benefited me more at this place in my life.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think that the way I see school is it's a benefit, but until you get into like college, it's a game.
Right.
And you just got to win that game.
Exactly. You got to play the game.
So it's just like, you might not like that teacher might not like you, get that A.
Right.
Whatever it takes. And then you don't ever have to see that teacher again.
Exactly.
You never have to interact with that person. Just get that A.
Right.
And so there are a lot of people who get stuck in that. That teacher doesn't like me. I don't like math. I don't like read. I don't like this. I don't like that. Right. It's just like, just get through it.
Right.
Get through it. And then you'll be able to get to a place where you go to college and you take classes that you want to take. Yeah.
That are meaningful to you, and that are going to be directed towards your life goals and whatnot. You know?
For sure, man. Because, you know, I used to tell students when I was teaching, like, you may never use this. But you may.
Right.
So you might as well know how to do it.
Yeah. And knowledge is power. Even though you think you may not use it, you still have the knowledge that you could pass on to someone else. It could benefit them. Even though you're not using that knowledge, it's like, oh, well, I know how to do it. Let me show you. Right. So like, it's kind of about that too.
And if you had any advice to give to anybody that either wanted to open their studio, maybe both, or wanted to be boy, right, or be girl, like what would you tell them about that lifestyle, about, you know, going through those, you know, back burns, you know what I'm saying, and like getting through that hard part of like learning how to do this?
Well, I feel like those are two questions because the breaking. So I'll start with the breaking. Breaking creates resilience. You become resilient to like not only in your mind but physically as well. To just the bruises and scrapes, and it just makes you stronger. And like your mind around getting stronger is gonna help carry. It's gonna add to your confidence as a person overall. Mm-hmm. So for me, breaking is something that, one, physically, it made me stronger and mentally stronger. But two, it also helps you find the type of person you are, right? So even through your dancing, you could figure out, oh, I like more, you know, crazy, difficult, controlled movements, or I like more freestyle flow, rhythmic movements, right? And these things can help you learn about the type of person you are and your personality, which you would carry outside of breaking. Right. So I feel like any young person getting into breaking, don't compare yourself to other people, because that's what's going to defeat you. You're not going to be the best person right away. What you need to do is appreciate the little things you're learning and the progress and the build up for when you do figure out what you want to do. You're going to be ready to do that. Right. It won't be a surprise. It won't be like, oh, well, now I want to do this now, but I'm not ready. Like your body's going to be, it's kind of like how we're talking about like college or school. The beginning stages of learning how to break are like elementary school and high school. Mm-hmm. But once you kind of get through those things, and you're a little bit stronger and more knowledgeable and able-bodied, then you're going to be like, whoa, now I can start practicing what I really want to practice and really focusing on the way that I want to move and move and groove, you know what I'm saying, and how I get down. So mm-hmm. I feel like just getting through those early first couple years are important. Yeah. And after that, then you're really going to be able to find yourself through the dance. Mm-hmm. Along with meeting so many dope people in the community, which I think is very powerful on a social level. You know, just learning about people and learning about your community and collaboration and conversation and all of these things that are beneficial to your life as well. And then the second part of that question about becoming a studio owner, one, I think it's helpful. I'm glad that I'm a co-owner because doing it alone would be crazy. I feel like it's hard to do a business alone, and I know it's possible, and it depends on the type of business that you do. But if we're speaking specifically about dance studios, you want to have either someone in your corner that you trust that you could do it with, or a team, mm-hmm. just to make it all happen how it's supposed to happen, you know? And, you know, there's a lot of this general things, right? Like that are dependent on like location and, you know what I mean? And like your financial status and all these things. But the biggest thing is, if you have a passion for something, do it. Like I'm a new, like just 2 weeks ago makes 2 years for me of being a business owner and studio owner.
Congratulations, brother.
Thank you, bro. And so I'm still fresh, you know, so you might take my advice with a grain of salt because I'm a new business owner. But the reason I did it is because I'm passionate about dancing. I love dancing. I love teaching people. I've always been a teacher. And I think that if you have those passions, do it. And you're going to figure it out. If you want to teach and you have the heart and you have the drive, and you want to make it something more of yourself on another level, on another platform, do it, because you will figure it out, you know. And whether it be, you know, you having to work harder and work a little bit more, you know what I mean, or you having to use some of your own money for your business, right? Like, it's going to teach you life lessons, and eventually you're going to figure it out, and it's not going to be as difficult, and you're really going to enjoy what you're doing and how you're impacting other people's lives. And for me, that's the gratifying part of what I do. I'm not a millionaire for my studio. Maybe one day I will be. I hope so. But if not, what makes me and us rich is the impact that we're having on the people that we're serving, the community that we're serving, and our city, and just knowing that they have a place that they can go to learn and feel at home. You know what I mean? In terms of something that they want to learn.
That's what's up, man. And then what do you want to leave with your dance? Like, what's something that you want to leave as far as like knowledge that you want to pass, or you want people to understand about why you dedicated yourself to dance?
Something I want to leave, man, dude, I don't think I'm ever going to leave. So there's nothing to leave behind because I'm always going to be here. No, I'm just playing. No, something I want to leave behind is just like, I guess, there's like an essence to Chicago breaking that, again, I kind of touched on this earlier, that I feel like is becoming lost. Mm-hmm. And I guess I just want to be known as that person that always stayed authentic and true to the Chicago style of breaking. Mm-hmm. And aside from that, I just want to leave a legacy of students and passing my knowledge along, just to keep the culture alive. So what I want to leave is I just want to leave tools and I guess just like I just want to make it easier for the next generations to learn breaking and to know the history of breaking, Chicago breaking, and just to know that there's people that do it not just to become famous or to be popular, or to get girls or whatever it is. Like, there's people like me that do it because they just love to do it, and then eventually, if you want to make money from it, that's fine. But there's people out here that do this authentically, you know what I mean, and do it because they love hip hop.
They have a passion for it.
They have a passion for the arts. They love their city. You know what I'm saying? They love to learn. They love to persevere through tough times. Like, all of these things build character. Man. So I guess I'm kind of rambling a bit, but for me, what I want to leave behind is just, I want people to know that, like, there was a person here that did this dance, that did it because they loved it and they wanted to pass it along and keep it going forever. And I just want it to be known that it's not just something that died out or we do just because it, people think we're cool. Like, this is like a lifestyle, dude. This is something that changed my life for the better and helped me. I became a teacher through breaking. You know what I mean? It helped me find the type of person that I was. So yeah, I just want to leave behind just like a legacy of, people that are true to the art.
Yeah, and you mentioned, and I didn't want to mention this until the end because I wanted you to tell your story, right? But like, you mentioned that your brother had passed away just recently. Mm-hmm. How has that, like, what is the legacy, or how has that affected you of your brother?
Well, my brother was super dope. He was a dope MC, a dope producer, hip hop, and it's affected me because, well, one, he was 39 when he passed away, so that's like super young, right? Yeah. So it affected me in a sense of like, you have to cherish the day. Like, we got to take, like, I feel like I need to do as much as I can before I'm gone. Yeah. And I always felt that way, but I feel it way more now because seeing someone pass away so early, we have no idea when we're going to go. Yeah. Right.
It gives you it makes you realize your mortality.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's one thing. Another thing, like we're kind of talking about, leaving things behind, leaving a legacy. I think it's important for me to figure out a way for people to know who he was and how talented he was. Mm-hmm. So through his passing, I inherited a lot of his musical equipment, beat machine, like MPCs, and I have like 15 crates of records now and turntable. Like I didn't do music, you know what I mean? I wasn't a DJ, but now I'm inspired. So
yeah. What is it like looking at his equipment and knowing that he was touching that and he was inspired by those records and like, when my mom passed away, like you have to go through all those things. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you find things that you shouldn't find. You just like, okay, right. I see you, dog. But then you find stuff that like is like, wow, okay. Yeah. Like I can see more of who you are through the things that I never saw that you had.
Absolutely, bro.
Yeah, like what was that like?
Man, for me, it's just I'm proud of him, because I've heard a lot of his music and just I've seen him perform, and I'm just like, when I see it and touch these things, I'm just super proud. Along with that, it makes me want to like carry it on somehow. Like I'm inspired. Like I'm like, it's like, should I start doing music? Like, should I utilize these things that he that I have inherited from him to like carry on this tradition in some way for him? So in some weird kind of way, I'm inspired to almost start doing like DJing or music production or like, I've dabbled in emceeing and rapping. Like my brother was a killer freestyle, like, saying off the top, like Juice and, like Supernatural, like those type of MCs. My brother killed that. And like me and him would rap a lot. And like, I'm pretty good at that too. Like, not to say I want to become a rapper, but like, I'm just inspired by him. Yeah. And I just want to figure out a way to like carry on his legacy somehow, whether it be through his own music and getting it out, or utilizing his equipment and things that he had to produce new things, and with the inspiration being him,
Yeah. And my condolences, man.
Thank you, bro.
I know that's very, very new in your life, like there's a mourning process, and that could be a beast. And so approaching it in the fact that you're like appreciating the person and what he is. But the one thing that does is it definitely makes you, like you were talking about, it makes you realize your mortality and be like, yo, time isn't guaranteed, man. Right. Yeah. So how can people reach out to Steadfast Studios? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can you let us know?
Sure. Yeah. You can go to our website. It's steadfastdance.com. You can also find us on Instagram at Steadfast Dance Center, as well as Facebook. So those are probably the main ways to get in contact with us. And you can also call us at 773-403-6363. Send a text or leave a message and we'll get back to you. But those are the main ways, or people can always reach out to me personally. My Instagram handle is BLK_ATK. It's probably the best way to get in contact with me in regards to social media, and I can answer any questions you may have about the studio.
Yeah. Anything else that you would want to say, or?
Man, I just want to give a shout out to all of my OGs, like I mentioned earlier. You know what I'm saying? All the brickheads, Waka, Pop, Angel, Sean Rocca, Hex, everybody. Like, just mad love to my crews. Mad love X-Men crew, Chicago, RTA, all my homies, and just all the people that are keeping like real, authentic Chicago hip hop and just doing their thing. Like, I just shout out everybody because you all inspire me, and I'm just really appreciative to still be here and be part of these communities. And I'm just gonna rock it as long as I can.
That's what's up, man. Well, thank you very much for coming to the 500 and Growing podcast. I'm positive that people are going to take all these jewels and do something with them, get inspired to, you're going to get some super duper B-boy coming out, or B-girl, you know what I'm saying? That's going to be like, yo, you inspired me. But no, I really appreciate your your story. Your story is going to inspire a lot of people. And thank you for being here.
Absolutely, bro. Thank you for having me.
All right. So I am Azteca 500. We are the 500 and Growing podcast. You can go to www.500andgrowing.com and you can see mixes. You could also see the podcast as well. There are links for all the podcast platforms and YouTube. And there's some art that is memory portraiture. And then we are also produced by Where You At Productions. Where You At Productions is a mobile production company that helps you tell your story so that you can tell your story. And it's also mobile, so it goes to your space and helps you brand that space so that you can communicate to the world. So if you're interested, go to whereyouatproductions.com. And thank you very much. Peace.
Peace.
500 and growing.
Podcast.
Dedicated to the underdog, cause I see you. Working on your craft, getting strong, cause I see you. Ready to set it off and on, cause I see you. Correcting all that is wrong, cause I see you. Dedicated to your craft, read and study the math. Making goals and taking a stand. Original, so you trailblaze a path. In tune with your inner master plan.
Visit 500andgrowing.com for more creative content.
Thank you very much for listening to the 500 and Growing podcast. Remember that we have incredible guests that have already featured in episodes in the past. So please go back into the archives and listen to their inspirational stories. And then remember that we have incredible guests lined up for the future. So please follow on Instagram at 500 and Growing Podcast. Remember to follow on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or any of the major podcast platforms. You can also check out 500andgrowing.com for more creative content.
500 and growing.
Podcast.